This is in response to Dr. Paul Krugman's article in the New York Times on Friday, July 3rd, 2015, Europe's Many Economic Disasters. Now, there is a vote in Greece coming up on whether they want to continue the austerity measures or to sort of go it their own way. And Dr. Krugman aptly points out that it is very necessary to take a look at Europe in general and what is going on in many of the areas of Europe. He starts out by talking about Finland, who is in the 8th year of an economic decline. They still have a good credit rating. They still can borrow easily, and their GDP has gone down approximately 10%. Not only are they having troubles, now Finland didn't come into this trouble the same as Greece. So let's make that clear. Theirs came in from, there's a lot less of their forestry products that are being bought worldwide, and Nokia has gone down quite a bit. And that's one of the many reasons why they're having some trouble. The Netherlands is also having trouble. Belgium is also having trouble. And remember, Spain is now being considered a success story by those over there. But Spain still has 23% unemployment. And remember, their young population is even greater in unemployment. And their GDP is down 6% from pre-crisis levels. So there's a lot that's not going on that great in Europe. We are focusing on Greece, perhaps a little bit too much. And remember, there's a couple $100 billion that Greece owes that Greece really can never really pay back because their economy isn't big enough. Now, when Finland had their crisis about in the late 1990s or late 1980s, I can't remember, they were able to do something because they had their own sovereign currency. They could devalue their currency, then their exports would become much cheaper, and thereby being able to get out of some of their problems. None of these countries have that opportunity to do that right now. So they're left under the stranglehold of the creditors, and the creditors want austerity measures. They want to continue austerity measures. Now, one thing Dr. Krugman points out is that, you don't hear much about France, but France is like the second most powerful country in Europe outside of Germany, both and economically. And guess what? They have a huge social net, now I won't use the term socialistic, but they take care of their people. Didn't they just put arrest two Uber executives in France because all the French taxi drivers went on strike or had something because Uber wants to do things on the cheap, so to speak. So, and remember, in Spain, their crisis, which I said, they're still way down. They didn't have problems from the government standpoint. There was a housing boom that went bust, and there was way too much private lending, which Spain itself had to account for. So, a lot of things that are going on, a lot of things that make things good or bad, but if you don't have your own sovereign currency, you can't devalue your currency, and you're stuck with the austerity measures that are preset by the let's just call it the bureaucrats, bankers in there. And as Dr. Krugman aptly points out, huge mistake, big mistake all along. Was it a mistake to get into the Eurozone? Yes. Does that mean we have to get out of it right now? We can't get out of it right now. But the one thing we have to acknowledge is that austerity is not going to work, because if the referendum goes that they're going to accept the austerity measures imposed by their creditors, they will really never get out of debt, and they will continue to have continued unemployment and a reduction in GDP, because anything that they earn in excess of just paying basic bills has to go back to pay the creditors. So they can't use that money to reinvest in their own economy. And these austerity measures will make things worse. And the question is, which way will the Greek government go? And if it goes and says, we're not going to go, the austerity hasn't worked for 6 years, we can't pay our way out of the debt, we've got to find another way to do it, what's going to happen to the credibility of those creditors? Will they try to crush Greece? And will there be enough worldwide monetary help to help Greece get through this crisis?